We're back, and you may know we're in the same clothes. Here's the reason we're in the same clothes. We have to stack these. And the reason we have to stack these is I'm going to be out of town. Sarah's going to be out of town. We don't want the listeners to miss one Friday.
No way.
So here's the good news. We got content. I don't know if you remember 2 weeks ago, we got a notebook. Like literally, I bet you there's another 100 in here.
Probably.
This One Time in Real Estate. This is season 2. It's episode number 26.
26.
And here's the thing. I hijacked the first one, which you already had an idea, and then I hijacked it with that. The second one you absolutely brought up. Now you're taking off the rest of the month. Actually, that's why we're doing it, because if you listen to the one about her free schedule, she's like, screw it. I'm taking off all June, July. Hey, if that's what it takes, I'll keep you still.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You got it.
That would not work.
But please don't do it. But,
I won't.
But you know what? Do take off a lot of time. Enjoy your kids. All right. What do you got for me?
Well, so we as a team have been doing some field trips, and it was actually a really great time. Mark came along as well, and we explored a community in St. Louis that I had very little awareness of. I don't know that much about Old Town Florissant, Missouri, but we did know that it was an opportunity for first-time home buyers and just provided a more affordable community where you can still purchase a home under $200,000, which is a pretty amazing thing these days. So we wanted to explore it, and we got all up in their business and learned a lot about the community. And I think that I believe it. Everyone, if you're an agent and you're listening to this, there is an area in your community that you aren't as familiar with that provides opportunities to clients that you are going to want to work with, obviously, who wouldn't want to work with those individuals. And you need to be going there and touring and understanding and learning about that community, because that's part of what we do. That's part of our job.
Well, if you were to correlate it, you were in the car business. Mm-hmm. Now, the beauty of real estate is it's every car brand. If you were to correlate it, you were at a Ford dealer.
Correct.
You only sold Fords or used cars that were on the lot. Now, I'm assuming Fords you nailed. Is that right? You knew everyone.
Yep.
But what about a used car? Did you have to learn those used cars, or so you get a trade-in and somebody's interested? Was there used car and new car people, and the used car knew more? What did that look like?
Yeah, actually, so I was a new car sales associate, but if you met them in new and you realized that they may have something in pre-owned that fit their needs, then you could go over to pre-owned. But otherwise, those guys were super territorial.
So what happened though? But if if there was you thought, okay, they want an SUV or a small SUV,
yep,
and their budget's only X dollars. You know what? That Mazda MX or CX-7 or what? That's probably great. You still went over there, but you didn't know much about that. Is that right?
Yeah, so usually in the mornings, it would be a little bit quieter in the morning time when you started your day, and I would use that as an opportunity to go to the pre-owned, take cars out of the key machine take keys out of the key machine and go look at, because I love cars, so it was fun anyway, but because the expectation is you sync their phone, the safety features, so the more you know about those used cars, the more you're going to be able to properly articulate their value, and so I had to do that on my own. Sometimes you were totally doing it on the fly, so it was very interesting.
And I'm sure, although different, because they're on your lot, they see that car they like, and you may luck into, if you didn't have the product knowledge, because you have something they want, they're on your lot, you can still sell it. Because maybe this person's done their own research. But here's the beauty about real estate, but the difficulty about real estate. The beauty is we can sell any car brand at all. Our whole entire business is some new cars, which would be new construction, but a heck of a lot of used cars. Yeah. And they're everywhere. We cover a huge amount of the market. Yeah. And so the beauty of it is, yes, we cover But that all goes back to why you have our team doing a couple activities. We just got out of one on a Friday. We got out of one activity, community exploration over the internet, but you can talk about that, plus these field trips.
Yep.
Plus, you want not just new agents, but you want all agents doing what?
Previewing.
Previewing.
Oh, yeah.
See, I didn't even have to ask her.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing to replace the confidence you're going to have when you go and preview homes. When you're interviewing for a listing and you can talk intelligently about the 5 homes that sold. A matter of fact, my brother and real estate partner, Neil, went on a listing call on a luxury listing over $1 million with one of our agents. I asked that agent, how'd it go? The first thing he said, it was amazing that Neil could talk about, number one, every luxury home he sold competing, that would have been competition, and all the ones that are still on the market unrelated to ours. Product knowledge. The number one thing he mentioned, this agent, and who's a great agent on our team, but he needed Neil's support to help him procure this listing. The number one thing that resonated with him was market knowledge. And I think ultimately that's all you want. You can't force people to get product knowledge, but the market will ultimately force them, especially as we get closer to the lawsuit settlement, the NAR settlement, decoupling of commissions, where buyer agents are not going to have to truly prove their value. I would say that's probably one of the best and easiest places they can prove their value is the product knowledge.
Oh, well, and I think it's one of the ways they can immediately lose a client, potential client, is if they don't know about the area that the client is looking in. Because just being really honest, as buyers have high expectations of their agents, I think post August 1st, NAR settlement day, they're going to have even higher expectations potentially of their agent, because now they may be paying their agent themselves. And I don't fault them for that. I think I would be the same way if I were a buyer. So we need to know areas, and we also need to be going to where the homes are available. Like, that's just another, there's lower inventory, but there are areas where there's higher inventory. We need to be an expert in those areas, because there was a really smart agent that we were able to listen to a few weeks ago, and he made a really great point about going where the affordability is. For us in St. Louis, the central areas are just going to continue to increase in price because people really appreciate proximity to things and just those kind of areas. But if you can go further out from that, you do still find opportunities and lower priced opportunities, specifically, as you mentioned, new construction opportunities. You need to be able to know where those are. You need to be able to pinpoint those in your business, and you need to be able to study those markets, preview so many houses in those areas, understand what's driving it, what are important landmarks, where are the schools, where are the parks, obviously. So the field trip is really to prioritize our agents doing those activities. And then we've talked about habit stacking in the past. I'm a huge proponent of habit stacking. So for this, it was, hey, we're going to go here. We're going to learn a new area that a lot of us may not be so aware of. We're going to learn what is thriving, what's kind of growing that community. And we're also going to do social media posts about that area relating to real estate, but not saying, hey, I'm an agent. Do you want to buy or sell? Because that sometimes gets lost. That message can get lost. So instead, it's like, hey, I'm an agent and I'm touring Florissant, Missouri, and I'm learning about all of the awesome small businesses that are represented here, and I want you to know more about these and why you should attend. And then you're building relationships with those individuals as well. And it was so cool because Mark is just kind of taking pictures, and one of the employees at this Made by Leah cute craft bakery and coffee shop they called it, but she's like, you want to meet her? And we were able to meet her, the owner of Made by Leah, and then Mark took a video with us and her, and it was amazing. And then she reposted Mark's video, and it was just the coolest thing. And we're building relationships, and now she'll know who you are, you know who she is. That's real estate, relationships.
Absolutely. By the way, nothing's going to happen if this were our office and me and you are just sitting here all day. No, work works. Right. Getting out in the community works. By the way, when we give, you get in return. We gave her exposure. So she's as thankful it's funny. She's as thankful for us giving her the exposure, but you're thankful and blessed that you saw a new place. And could you imagine, which I know that you're passionate about, you want this to occur more and more. Yeah. So what are you doing on a weekly basis in our huddles?
Yeah, so this is super fun. So actually a few years ago, we decided to do this where we would have an agent present on an area that they chose. We have a lot of municipalities here in St. Louis, so there's a lot of material to cover. So an agent would pick each week, and they would basically present on a municipality in St. Louis. And the cool thing is we still are relatively specialized. We have agents that live in Chesterfield, and they do a lot of business in Chesterfield. So they are the authorities on the Chesterfield market, and they're really great to train on that. We have agents that live in Cottleville, and they know a lot about Cottleville, which is an area that I don't know as much about. So we've brought that back because our huddles are very important to us. We want to make sure we're always adding value. That's our goal for our agents. And so we knew that on Fridays there was a little chunk of time that we could devote to learning about municipalities, and it would ultimately go a long way because all you need is one nugget sometimes or two nuggets. So we focus on some really interesting information. We talk about obviously how many residents there are in the town, when it was founded. We talk about just notable kind of landmarks. So if you want to sell in Cottleville, you need to know that there is this amazing main street that's golf cart friendly and has these great restaurants and shops, and like there's just things you want to know, so that even if maybe you get a referral and you don't work in that area all the time, you can go here and learn a lot about this municipality in a short period of time. And then we talk about real estate related, so list to sale price ratios, how many homes have sold in the last 6 months, what's their average, days on market, just like real estate related trends that we think are really important. And then we also talk about occupancy, what their permitting process looks like, and just like notable neighborhoods, obviously. We started this, when would that have been? Like, I guess this year, like at the beginning of this year, we started it again. And it's one of my favorite things. We do it once a week on Fridays, and I think everyone ends up being better for it. And it's just a commitment that we have to our agents. So,
yeah, and I think that the more you have knowledge about one municipality, it prompts you to think about the next municipality. Well, I know this municipality has that. I'm excited to hear what this has.
Right.
And I'm excited about this and the milestone. I mean, it's funny because Cottleville, which was done today, I went there last night. And we go there all the time. I don't live there. I live probably 15, 20 minutes away, but I love it. And what Sarah exposed me to last week about this Made by Leah is there's just so much more out there. It's funny, we get in our own little world. So I spend a lot of time on the river. I like boating. And it's funny because if you don't have a boat or you don't have a friend with the boat, you will never go there. It's a whole community you'd have zero idea about. When I run or bike, there's a biking and running community. If you don't bike or run, you're never even going to know about that community. Those are all personal things. But if it translates to the business side, if you don't open your mind and get out there and make a cognizant effort, you're never going to get exposed to it. And that's the beauty. By the way, you're going on the river this week, aren't you?
Just this.
Are you fired up about it?
Well, yes, I am, and it's great.
Well, why are you putting the brakes on?
We're not going to be on a boat.
Yeah, but you're going to kick it.
Yeah, we are. We're kicking it, and it's because you. So we do team events pretty often on our team, and Mark had the idea years ago, I don't even remember when, like 2018 maybe, to do a Gelman team trip to the loading dock, and I didn't know anything about the loading dock. The only thing I know about Grafton really is Pere Marquette, which my family went to all the time when I was younger, but it's the coolest place, and I never would have known about it. And now I get to bring some of our closest friends to go check it out. And
do any of them have any been there?
So I think the majority of them have been there like a long time ago. Yep. And so I think that expansion had just happened when we went. Yep. And so I was like, did you know they have a sand area and bags and like a whole? And so people did not seem to be aware of that. So I'm excited to dazzle them with how cool it is. And it's going to be a beautiful weekend. So yeah, but that's all thanks to, and that's the cool thing is, that's one of the reasons I love real estate is because you never know. Like, you don't know about the little local neighborhoods that have their 4th of July parades. Like, we don't know until we know. And the only way to know is to ask and understand. And it's just like there's a never ending opportunity to learn more about potentially even neighborhoods that are in your own backyard.
Do you know where I'm going tonight?
Where
what community?
Should I guess?
No.
Okay, where?
I'm going to Webster. But do you know what's there tonight?
Is it an art fair?
Yeah.
Oh, so
See?
fun.
I go to art fairs, and it's just my jam. And so Webster Art Fair, and that's what I do. So if you pick like a hobby, even if X, Y, or Z. So for me, I hit a lot of communities. Belleville has an amazing art fair. That's Illinois. Webster has a great one. Lohmeyer Sculpture is every Mother's Day. Clayton Art Fair is, and keep going on. And that's how we get out to communities. There's a reference point.
Totally.
Restaurants are probably parks and restaurants. I want to check out the new park right off of Manchester. They right at Manchester and Brentwood. Have you heard about the Brentwood Park?
I have.
It's massive. Now
Yes.
It's causing massive travel. I mean, like traffic and backed up, and there's nowhere to park. But I want to check that out.
Yep.
I just like that. I like to get out. And you know what? It's important for our kids. So for us, I love art fairs. I love hiking, different hiking trails, and I like just in general parks and then restaurants.
Mm-hmm.
Those 4 things bring me. Now, if I were to segue to my wife, she adds one important thing, boutique shopping, which you go to these little communities all over, and there's just fun boutiques.
Love it.
What about you? What brings you out to different communities?
Oh, probably for sure parks. It used to be the splash pads. Those were like my jam because I had smaller kids. So you had to know where all the great splash pads were.
That's a nugget.
Yeah. So if you need to know, it's pretty good. Although a lot of them are west, and like they've built a lot of awesome ones out west, which is not where I live. But let's see, definitely restaurants. Although we're very big in our bubble, which we need to get better about. I need to be more like you. You're motivating me.
You got to get out.
So we're gonna get out of the bubble a little bit more. And then I really like music. So, but I don't do as much as I should. But we did a few weeks ago, and I'm like, why do we not do this more often? Especially because St. Louis actually has a lot of cool outdoor amphitheaters that, like, I'm going to Chesterfield Amphitheater in September for Taylor Swift. It's like a
nice. Yeah.
She sings, what is that called? Cover band or whatever.
Yeah.
So that should be fun. But anyway, there's so many cool places to listen to music. So I would love to do more of that.
Do you know one last thing before I wrap it up? What I would do when my kids were young is I would drive them around to the poorest neighborhoods. My wife didn't like it, but it's hard sometimes for our children to understand, like, where we live and then the reference point. Maybe their friend has a big house. Maybe their friend has a smaller. But it's hard to, like, we live in nice areas. I mean, very stable areas where they don't get a lot of this. But I used to drive them around, and they like, I can't believe somebody lives there. I can't. So, by the way, totally different segue, but I just think getting out, getting exposure, seeing what's out there, know that there's more than your little bubble.
Right.
Even though your little bubble's cool.
Yeah.
It's safe.
Right.
It's something that you know is consistent. You know that you're going to, if you go to the restaurant, you're most likely going to get a good meal.
Yep.
But you know what? There's a lot out there, young lady.
Right. Get out of your comfort zone.
That's it. Let's call it a wrap. And you may not see Sarah for, how long are you taking off? 3 months?